Last night, or yesterday, the president was in Ohio for an economic roundtable. But on tax reform, as he often does, he talked about a lot of subjects, including immigration. Listen to his doubling down on his approach there.
Our borders and our laws are a mess. Our immigration laws are a disgrace. And Mexico has some of the toughest immigration laws in the world. You can't just go into Mexico, but they allow these people to come up through Mexico and come into our country. And the wall we have to build. How about the wall where everyone scales the wall? We are fixing and building walls now, but we need much more money. We're doing the job right. We're going to do the job. And we may have to close up our country to get this straight. But look at that mess that's on television right now. It is a total catastrophe. And these are the laws passed by Democrats so that we have open borders. They want open borders. We have to have borders. If you don't have borders, you don't have a country.
Don't miss what he said there about we may have to close down our country in order to get the wall. What he's referring to clearly is the fact that government funding is running out again in September, at the end of the summer, right before the midterms. And remember, the last time the president signed that omnibus spending bill, thousands of pages, and he said he was ready to veto it, but he signed it reluctantly to keep the government open. He said, folks, I'm not doing this again. Unless
he said that then, and he said it again.
Unless you clean up some of the spending, runaway federal spending. I want the wall. I've got other priorities. And so it sets up an incredible showdown right before the midterms.
And a clear warning there to those lawmakers. What he said at the very end, though, is you don't have a country if you don't have borders. I mean, how true that is. Right? Because if you open all the borders up, what are you? You've got to define what your laws are, and that's exactly what he's trying to say. And that's what he's campaigned on from the very beginning, is we have got to double down and figure out what kind of country we want to be.
He has doubled down on the basics. He's talking about borders. He's talked about standing for our anthem.
We will never fail, and we will always protect your Second Amendment.
President Trump, yesterday in Dallas, speaking to the NRA. Someone else that was there was Dan Bongino, former NYPD officer, former Secret Service agent, and, of course, host of the Dan Bongino Show, and NRA TV contributor. Dan, always good to see you. What was the mood like yesterday?
Abby, they love this president. I mean, it was palpable. I know commentators come on sometime at other conventions and they say things like that. Oh, you could feel No, you really could. I mean, people love this president. Even my wife, who was with me, she came down and she came down after me. She goes, my gosh, she goes, everybody's talking about President Trump. I think they see him as a real defender of their rights, their Second Amendment rights. And Abby, this is important. I think they feel like their Second Amendment rights are legitimately under, a 30-front attack here, and they see the president is standing in the way of that.
Well, Dan, part of that 30-front attack is in the courts and the special counsel and the showdown happening there. But yesterday, there was kind of a break in the clouds, if you will, as a federal judge, T.S. Eliot basically told Mueller's prosecution, not Eliot, T.S. Eliot, sorry, Ellis, my apologies. He ripped into the Mueller team, the prosecutors, accusing them of not really wanting to go after Paul Manafort and his misdeeds, but instead targeting Team Trump. Dan, you've been warning about this from the beginning. What do you make of this judge?
This judge is my new hero. If I see this guy, I'm asking him for his autograph because I'm not an autograph collector either. This is the first guy to come out and say, this judge, and say, hey, where's the case? Where's the darn case? We've been told for months that there's some big scandal to overturn an election. Trump spoke with the Russians. They colluded to trade all this information. Nobody's produced a scintilla of evidence. The judge finally comes up and says, hey, fellas, do you have an actual case here? And what does the defense say? The government says, well, there's a scope document, but we don't think you need